There's a reason so many women wait until their 60s to finally cut their hair short, and then wonder why nobody told them sooner. A pixie cut at this stage of life isn't a compromise. Done right, it's the most flattering, low-maintenance, high-impact thing you can do for your face. But here's what most people don't tell you. The cut is only half the story. How you style it every single morning is what actually makes the difference between looking polished and looking like you just rolled out of bed. And there's one styling move, coming up in just a few minutes, that most women with pixie cuts have never tried. And it changes everything about how the cut frames the face after 60. Let's get into it. Part 1. The crown lift that changes your whole silhouette. Here's something most women don't realize about a pixie cut after 60. The single biggest factor in whether it looks modern and flattering or tired and flat has nothing to do with the cut itself. It's all about what happens at the crown. And most women are doing absolutely nothing there. As we get older, hair loses density at the roots. It's not dramatic, it's not sudden, but it's real. The hair that used to hold itself up naturally now needs a little help. And when a pixie cut lies flat at the crown, something subtle but significant happens to the face. The eye reads the silhouette as compressed, shorter, rounder, heavier through the middle. A flat top draws attention downward. A lifted crown draws the eye up and creates the illusion of length and lift in the face itself. That's not a trick. That's geometry. So here's what you actually do. Start with dry hair. Completely dry, not damp, and work a small amount of volumizing mousse or a lightweight root lifting spray through the crown section only. A thumbnail-sized amount of mousse is enough. More than that, and you'll weigh the hair down rather than lift it. Work it through with your fingertips, lifting the roots slightly as you go. You're not smoothing the hair down, you're separating and lifting at the base. Then tilt your head forward slightly, just enough to feel it, and use a small round brush or simply your fingers to push the crown hair upward and slightly forward as you hit it with the warm setting of your dryer. Keep the airflow aimed at the roots, not the ends. Hold that lift for about 10 seconds, then switch the dryer to the cool setting and hold the hair in place while it cools. That cooling step is what sets the lift. Skip it, and the volume falls within 20 minutes. What you'll notice immediately is that your face looks longer. Not dramatically, this is a subtle, elegant shift, but the eye travels upward when there's height at the crown, and that upward movement is what gives the whole look a lifted quality that no amount of foundation or concealer can replicate. Women who've been getting pixie cuts for years often say this single adjustment, crown lift first, everything else second, took them from I look tired to I look sharp, without changing a single other thing about their routine. The snapback is real. When the crown has height, the jaw looks more defined, the cheekbones read higher, and the neck looks longer. You didn't change your face. You changed what the eye focuses on. That's the power of this technique, and it should be the very first thing you do every morning before you touch another part of the style. Once you've got the crown lift working for you consistently, you'll start to notice how much it changes what you can do with the rest of the style. Because volume at the top creates a framework, and the next styling move builds directly off that framework in a way most pixie cut wearers have never thought to try. That's coming up next. Part 2. Fringe placement and the face framing secret nobody mentions. The fringe is the most misunderstood part of a pixie cut, and that's saying something because most women aren't even sure they have one. Here's what I mean. Almost every pixie cut involves some length at the front, even if it's just an inch or two. Whether you call it fringe, a forward section, or bangs, there's hair at the front of your head that sits somewhere around your forehead. And where exactly it sits and how it's directed is one of the most powerful face-shaping tools you have. The mistake most women make is ignoring it. They blow the front section flat, push it to one side out of habit, and move on. But after 60, the forehead often becomes a more prominent feature. Hairlines can shift slightly, temples may thin, and the balance between forehead and face changes. This is exactly where a thoughtfully placed, softly directed fringe section does its best work. Here's the technique. After you've done your crown lift, take the front section and decide on a direction, not straight back, not flat forward, but angled. A soft diagonal sweep, slightly to one side, so the fringe crosses the forehead at an angle rather than lying perpendicular to the face. This angle is the secret. A straight across fringe shortens the face and draws attention to horizontal lines. A diagonal sweep creates movement, draws the eye along the cheekbone, and visually elongates the face in a way that feels effortless rather than deliberate. Use a small amount of a light hold cream or pomade, literally a pea-sized amount. Work between your fingertips and then stroke through the front section. You're not gelling it down. You're giving it just enough weight and direction to hold the angle without stiffness. Then direct it with your fingers and a quick pass of the dryer on medium heat. Let it cool in place. The result is a fringe that looks intentional and polished without looking set or helmet-like. What changes when you do this consistently? The forehead feels balanced rather than exposed. The face reads as longer and more oval, which is the universally flattering goal for almost every face shape. And the cut looks styled. Not fussy, not formal, styled. There's a difference between hair that's been managed and hair that's been thought about, and this single fringe adjustment is what puts a pixie cut firmly into the second category. One more thing worth knowing. If your temples are a little thinner than you'd like, and this is incredibly common after 60, and nothing to worry about, a soft diagonal fringe angled toward the thinner side pulls visual attention forward and inward, away from the temple area. You're not hiding anything. You're directing the eye toward the features you love instead of letting it wander. Now that the crown has lift and the front section has direction, there's a third element that ties everything together, and it has to do with the sides and nape, and how their texture can either sharpen the whole look or quietly undo it. That's up next. Part 3. Texture at the sides and nape. The detail that defines everything. There's a reason the same pixie cut looks completely different on two different women. And it's rarely the cut itself. It's texture. Specifically, what's happening at the sides of the head and at the nape of the neck, where most women pay the least attention. That's the zone that reads closest to the face and neck when you're seen in person. And it's the zone that either makes a pixie cut look crisp and intentional or soft and unfinished. After 60, hair texture changes. It becomes finer in some places and coarser in others. The silver or gray tones that come in are often slightly drier and less smooth than the hair of your younger years. Not worse, just different. What that means practically is that the sides and nape tend to either go flat and featureless or slightly fluffy and undefined, depending on your hair type. Neither of those is the look you want. What you want is controlled, soft texture. Hair that looks deliberately lived in rather than accidentally undone. The product that does this best is a small amount of a texturizing cream. Not a wax, not a gel, not a spray. A cream. The texture of a good styling cream is just thick enough to give grip without hardness, and just light enough that it doesn't weigh down the fine hair you're working with. Take an amount roughly the size of a small pea. Warm it between your palms until it's almost invisible, and press it gently into the sides. Palms flat against the hair, not fingers raking through. Then use just your fingertips to add definition at the nape, pressing rather than combing. What you're doing is setting the hair's movement rather than eliminating it. Fine silver hair moves. That movement is beautiful. The goal isn't to freeze it in place, it's to direct it so that the movement looks polished rather than random. Pressing with warm palms gives the hair exactly enough definition to hold a shape while still reading as natural. The nape specifically deserves its own moment. After 60, the nape is often where the cut starts to look grown out fastest. Small hairs splay outward, the hairline softens, and the clean edge that made the cut look fresh starts to blur. Pressing a small amount of that same texturizing cream into the nape with your fingertips, smoothing toward the hairline, keeps that edge looking deliberate rather than overgrown. This is a 10-second step most women skip entirely, and it's the one that stylists always do before they send you out of the chair. Here's the thing about texture done right at the sides and nape. It makes the cut look more expensive. Freshly done, considered, intentional. When the sides are defined and the nape is clean, the whole style feels like it was done that morning rather than a week ago. Even if your last appointment was 3 weeks back. Texture at the sides and nape is the detail that holds the whole style together, but it works best when the next element is in place. Because there's one specific finishing step, involving the very perimeter of the cut around the ears and temples, that most women with pixie cuts have never been taught. That's the next part, and it might be the most practical thing in this whole video. Part 4. The temple and ear perimeter, where the cut lives or dies. I was talking to a woman after a consultation a while back. She'd had a pixie cut for almost 4 years and couldn't figure out why it always looked slightly off to her. even right after a fresh cut. She'd tried different stylists, different products, different lengths at the top. Nothing fully resolved it. We looked at her hair together, and it took about 30 seconds to see it. The hair at her temples was being combed straight down, sitting flat against the side of her face, parallel to her ears, making her face look wider and her temples look lower than they were. One small change in the direction of those temple pieces, and the whole cut reorganized itself around her face. She sat there genuinely surprised. For years of trying different things, and it was this one detail she'd never touched. The temple and ear perimeter is where a pixie cut either frames the face or competes with it. After 60, face shape becomes something most of us understand better than we did at 30. We know our strong features, we know what we want: more of length, lift, definition, and less of width, heaviness, anything that pulls the eye down. The perimeter of the cut at the temples and just above the ears is the most direct tool for influencing all of those things. Here's the fix. The hair at the temples, the small pieces that grow just ahead of the ear and sit against the side of the forehead, should be directed slightly upward and outward, not downward. Even a few millimeters of upward direction changes the visual weight of the whole cut. It lifts the apparent corner of the eye, opens up the temple area, and creates a sense of lightness around the upper face that makes the cut look professionally placed rather than just trimmed. To do this, use a tiny amount of the same texturizing cream on the tip of one finger. Press it into the temple piece and use the pad of your finger to push the hair gently upward and slightly backward, toward the crown, not toward the ear. Hold it for a moment, then let it sit. You don't need to pin it, you don't need a dryer on it. The cream gives it just enough grip to hold the direction. Do both sides. Step back and look. The hair just above the ear is the second part of this perimeter. It's the section that most often starts to look overgrown between cuts. The ear gradually disappears under a soft curtain of hair, the line of the cut blurs, and the style loses the crispness that made it sharp. Between appointments, you can restore that line yourself. Take the section above the ear and use your fingertips to press the hair flat and upward, away from the ear. Then hold it briefly with a light hold spray, or the residue of product already on your hands. It won't replace a fresh cut, but it brings the ear back into visibility and restores the clean perimeter that defines the style. One small but specific result of getting the temple and ear perimeter right is that the jaw looks more defined. This surprises people at first, but when the hair at the temples has upward direction and the area around the ear is clean and open, the jawline reads more clearly because there's nothing soft and downward falling at the sides of the face drawing the eye down toward it. The jawline becomes the natural stopping point of the eye's downward travel. And that's where you want it to stop. Get the perimeter right, and the cut looks like you walked out of a salon this morning, every morning. But there's one last styling move that pulls everything together, and it's the only finishing step that most women with pixie cuts have never been taught to use. That's coming up in the final part, and it's the one I'd want you to remember most. Part 5. The finishing touch that makes a pixie cut look expensive. Most women end their pixie cut styling routine with product and a dryer, and call it done. And honestly, that gets you 80% of the way there. But there's a final step, one finishing move, that accounts for the remaining 20%, and it's the 20% that separates a pixie cut that looks casually nice from one that looks considered, refined, and genuinely expensive. Not expensive as in costly. Expensive as in, this woman knows exactly what she's doing. The step is shine. Specifically, a very small application of a lightweight hair gloss or shine serum applied last, over everything else, once the style is fully set. This sounds simple. It is simple. But the reason so few women do it comes down to a very specific fear. The fear of looking greasy or overdone. And that fear is valid, because the wrong product used in the wrong amount does exactly that. But the right product, used correctly, does something entirely different. It makes silver and gray hair look like it has depth and dimension rather than flatness. Here's the truth about silver and gray hair that most stylists don't spell out directly. It absorbs light differently than pigmented hair. Darker hair reflects light. Gray and silver hair can scatter it, which is what creates that beautiful luminous quality when the light catches it at the right angle. But under ordinary indoor light, that same property can make gray hair look flat, dull, or ashy rather than luminous. A shine serum bridges that gap. It adds a micro layer of reflectivity to the surface of each strand, so the hair catches the light more consistently and reads as vibrant rather than washed out. The key is application. You need less than you think. A single drop of serum, or a light press of a shine spray from about 30 centimeters away, applied to the palms and then smoothed over the surface of the hair with both hands. Not worked in, not raked through. Smoothed, as if you're pressing the surface of the style. This applies the shine to the outer layer of the cut, which is exactly where you want it to show. What the shine does to the face is subtle but consistent. Luminous hair reads as healthier, more vibrant, and more youthful. And because hair is one of the first things the eye moves to when meeting someone, that luminosity transfers to the overall impression of the face immediately. It's not about looking younger. It's about looking alive, present, and intentionally put together. Those are different things, and they're better things. There's also a practical benefit that gets overlooked. A shine serum on a pixie cut slightly smooths the individual strands, which reduces the flyaway effect that silver hair is especially prone to. Not all flyaways. You want the hair to have natural movement, but the random, unintentional ones that appear at the crown and temples as the day goes on. One pass of shine at the beginning of the day reduces those by about half, with no additional effort needed later. Apply it as your very last step, after everything else is set. If you do it too early in the routine, other products go over it and the effect is diluted. Last step, smallest amount, smooth application, and then you're done. Take this finishing step and pair it with everything else you've learned in this video. The crown lift, the diagonal fringe, the defined sides and nape, the lifted temple perimeter, and what you end up with is a complete styling system. One that takes about 7 minutes in the morning, and makes your pixie cut look like someone who genuinely knows their hair, every single day. You came into this video knowing you loved your pixie cut, but maybe not quite knowing how to make it work for you every day. Now you've got the full picture. Lift at the crown to reshape the silhouette, fringe direction to balance the forehead, define texture at the sides and nape to keep the cut looking fresh, a clean perimeter at the temples and ears to frame the face properly, and shine is the final step that makes everything feel polished and vibrant. That's a real system, built specifically for how hair behaves after 60, and you can start using all 5 moves tomorrow morning. Tell me in the comments. Which one of these 5 techniques have you been skipping without realizing it? I'd love to know what's going to change in your routine first. Coming up next, I'm covering the specific haircut lengths and layers that work best for thinning hair after 60, and a few that stylists keep recommending that are actually making the problem worse. You won't want to miss that one. Like this video, subscribe to Timeless Wisdom Path, and I'll see you in the next one.